paying attention to the
Follow me, go to Mozambique.
On the Switch, we are the perfect guide to your destination. Mainland 98.3 FM. That's the sound of Lagos.
All right, it's time for Political Roundtable Mainland 98.3 FM. My name is Saheed Fuhad. This is the show where we look at the major issues in the political space. Of course, today is not going to be any different. There's a lot going on already. Before coming into the studio, the former governor of Rivers State, who is also the current FCT minister, I think he's on TV. They said an event in his honor in Port Harcourt as we speak, and he's making some interesting statements. Incidentally, one of the issues that we're going to be looking at on the show this evening also centers around the political crisis in Rivers State. So there's a lot that we are going to be talking about this evening. It's a full house. Barrister Curtis Adigba will be joining us via the phone line from the United States of America. Nuruddin Adigbero is already seated with us in the studio. Joseph Olorunso is in the studio, and together we're going to be looking at three major issues in the political space. Remember that last week I said that, look, we have a new culture on Political Roundtable, and that's to quickly go through major reports in the newspapers. Just speak one or two, three major issues in the newspapers for today, before we go straight into the discussion for today. Barrister Curtis, good evening, Barrister Curtis. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Nice to have you on the show this evening. All right, we also have Nuruddin Adigbero in the studio. Good evening, Nuruddin.
Good evening, and good evening, our listeners.
All right, Joseph Olorunso, how about you?
Well, for those that are listening to us from Nigeria, I will say good evening. Maybe Barrister Curtis say
good morning.
Oh, well, good morning.
It should be good afternoon, right?
Those are the areas that we are ahead of America. At least we use something past them.
Barrister Curtis say that one, at least we use that one past them. All right, well, it's going to be an interesting show. Let me just quickly let the cat out of the bag, and then we take some major headlines from the daily newspapers today, and then we'll start the conversation fully. Well, we have three issues on the roundtable this evening. The first one has to be the recent comments of Daniel Bwala, who is of course, the campaign spokesperson for the presidential campaign of the PDP in the last presidential election. And he said it in the affirmative that, look, Atiku Abubakar will run again in 2027. And he says that, look, he has got all the experience, he has what it takes, he has, and in fact, he said it in a way like, this is the president we need now, but we don't have him. So, Atiku, if we're going to go by Daniel Bwala's words, he's an associate of the former vice president, and so if he's saying something, I think we need to take it serious. And so what we're going to be looking at on the roundtable this evening is to look at the chances of the former vice president. He will be given the seventh shot, the seventh attempt. He's done it 6 times. We're going to look at that journey. When we get there, we'll look at his journey from, I think, 1993, when he started, giving it a try to become the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So we're going to look at his chances. There are issues we will consider. His age. I think he's currently 77 years old. So some of those things we'll consider when we get to the conversation proper. Now, the second issue, like I said, coming into the studio, we have the governor of Rivers State, who is making some interesting comments on TV as we speak. But on the show, just over the weekend, just yesterday, Friday, there's been a lot of development with different groups showing support and solidarity for Governor Aliya Fubara. That's the governor of Rivers State. And while we're seeing all of that, the former governor, who is the FCT minister now, Wike, also is in Rivers State. He's paid some courtesy visit to some political heavyweights. And what he said in one of those visits is what we're going to be looking at, as against what some of these groups are saying. I think we have some sound bites, so that we don't people don't accuse us of quoting out of context. We'll play exactly the way Wike said it, and also would also play some of the statements of some of these leaders of these groups, what they are saying. So we juxtapose that against what Nyesom Wike has said, and then we ask ourselves, how complex is the political crisis in Rivers State? How complex? What's the web of confusion we're getting from this Rivers State political crisis? That's after the intervention of the president. People have said that peace has now been restored. But does it look like peace has been restored? How bad is the crisis, or how complex is the crisis in Rivers State? So that will be one of the issues we are going to be looking at on Political Roundtable this evening. And then finally, we are going to the home state of Barrister Curtis Adigba, that's Benue State. And things are happening. It may not be as loud as the crisis in Rivers State, Joseph Olosho Nuruddin, but things are actually seriously happening in Benue State, and it has a similar coloration to what is happening in Rivers State. It's the federal versus the state. Of course, it has been in the news that the Reverend Father, who is the governor, Reverend Father Aliya, the governor of Benue State, is not in talking terms, or is not in the good books of the SGF, the Secretary of Government of Federation, Senator George Akume at this time. It's also like a godfather, godson kind of relationship that we are having here. And so, Benue APC political crisis deepens as Governor Aliya and Senator George Akume flex muscles at party primary. There was a primary that was held yesterday. The governor said he had cancelled the primary. The state ESCO of the party said, look, it was concluded and the winner had emerged, and that the governor had no such powers to cancel or suspend the party's primary. But we're asking ourselves, what are the real issues in Benue politics, especially with the APC, the governor and his supposed godfather, Senator George Akume? Luckily, that's the home state of Barrister Curtis Adigba, so I'm sure he will be able to really give us a lot of information that we can work with as to why we have this early morning crisis, quote unquote, between the governor and his supposed godfather, Senator George Akume. So those are the three issues, from Atiku running again in 2027 to the crisis between Fubara and Wike, and the updates we're getting to Benue State. I think we should have a very brilliant conversation. But before we go straight into all of those conversations, like I said, it's now going to be a tradition. We'll look at some major headlines from some of our daily newspapers. Now, Naira rain on woman who wakes up at 4:50 a.m. to cook for her husband. Naira rain, and that's from the Punch newspapers. Naira rain. I think it should be more than Naira, because they've been a car, they've been a phone, a particular,
waking up.
Yes, a mother, Mrs. Deborah Olaki, also known on X, that's formerly Twitter, Mommy Z, as Mommy Z.
If you want any other things,
okay, I think we should. When we are ready to talk to Mr. Curtis, so she says she wakes up every 4:30 a.m. to prepare her husband's lunch. Has become a social media sensation with gifts, cash, and blah blah blah. I think it's a trending thing on. It's a trending thing on Twitter. On X now, she's been getting a lot of gifts, and I think the story is around the fact that, look, she wakes up 4:30 a.m. to cook for her husband. I think to the Twitter community, sorry, the X community, that's big news. That's a big deal, and she's been getting a lot of cash. I think the conversation, I've spoken to a number of so-called Gen Zs, or the X generation people, and they said, look, for somebody like me, it may not be news really, it may not be anything too big to celebrate. But to them, it's a big thing in this era of toxic feminism, if you permit me to use that word, this era of misplaced toxic feminism. But that's captured on the Punch newspaper. She's getting a lot of gifts. I think whatever prayer she did, crossing into 2024, has answered so early. And so I think we should just say congratulations to her, Nuruddin.
Would you congratulations?
Fuhad.
Yes.
In this particular era that we find ourselves.
Yes. It's a big deal, right?
The reason why it's a big deal is because we have a lot of accidental wives and accidental mothers.
Okay.
Waking up 4:30
it's supposed to be a normal thing
is
for women,
a normal
for wives.
thing for wives, especially when your husband is leaving home 6 a.m. It's a normal thing because you have to cook breakfast
and prepare,
and you are also going to work too. So automatically, especially if somebody is a Muslim, what is waking up 5 o'clock
or 4:30?
Then another thing again is this, that because now we have a lot of some people that are not ready to marry. Why there are some people they are not marryable.
Okay.
Why you have as a lot of accidental mothers,
Yes.
they are now giving back to accidental daughters,
Those
daughters will now become
would
accidental wives.
Would then become disaster when
And
they marry.
that is the reason why you see somebody celebrating in my own house, waking up 4 o'clock after tahajjud and prepare yourself for the day.
It's a normal thing.
So automatically, if you know all those our mothers and grandmothers, we know how they sleep very late and they wake up very early
to take care of the house and prepare for the money.
Again is that we all know traditional places in Nigeria. Don't let me restrict them to Lagos. There are some certain places 2 a.m. that you are going to get a food to eat, and they are still going to prepare for the one for the morning. No. Well, that is the thing.
Well, Joseph,
there?
yes.
But nobody is asking for the taste of the food.
No, the husband is the one that will decide.
But
She's
not supposed to okay.
No, she's not cooking for. She's cooking for her husband.
But we supposed to ask the husband what was the taste.
No. That's their problem.
Too much pepper, too much salt.
That's their headache.
But Fuad, it means that
food is food. That's the husband to sort out.
Those that be donating.
Yes.
I think I need to send my mom's account number because they are owing my mother.
Because she deserves more.
Your mom is not on X. She's not on Twitter.
She deserves more.
It deserves more.
But by Curtis, have you been following that trend?
We live in an abnormal world. In the sense that people have even forgotten that the woman's major motive
yes
is not necessary to serve her husband.
Yes, somebody has been sharing spoon with the husband.
Yes, and she was afraid that the husband might start a relationship with that lady.
Yeah.
It's not something she was doing on her own or something she wanted to do on her own.
Yes.
Until she felt that her position was threatened. So
and
let's not lose sight of that.
Mm.
And I can tell you she will stop tomorrow if that stopped being the case.
Mm.
Now, but having said that, how our women like to quote Proverbs 31 about the virtuous woman, about how she gets up early in the morning to provide blah, 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 blah. The abnormality of the situation, is such that we have turned the normal grind of things upside down because that's what we want. You recall the story of the young boy who was going to be beaten by his mom in Benin, and he said, "Mommy, calm down. Mommy, calm down. Be calming down." It became a national thing to the point that even the governor of Lagos State invited her
to see the boy,
and see the boy. You saw how that story eventually ended, because sometimes people who are not prepared to hug the limelight, when they are thrown into the limelight, they lose their base, their core base. Eventually, I think very sadly, we heard that that same woman committed suicide.
Yes, she died.
Yeah, that woman, yeah.
In the case of this woman now, if you ask me, she's not been celebrated for the right reasons. But again, the age of social media, the age of turn upside down value.
And bandwagonism. Everybody just wants to.
Anything sells.
All right, let's move
anyway,
on. We have a lot.
Congratulations to her.
Congratulations to her.
Now waking up.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I knew I discovered my grandmother waking up so early in the morning. So I don't know.
Me, I say every day I wake up.
All right.
2 a.m.
Another story. I think this is also on the Daily Trust newspaper. I think it's on almost all the newspapers, and that's palliative saga. Accountant General disowns Beta Edu, false 585 million naira transfer into private account. That issue is raging. Again, Beta Edu not involved in financial misconduct. That's by the NSIPA. So this thing about the former Minister for Humanitarian Farouk to the NSIPA lady that was suspended, to Beta Edu transferring some monies into private accounts. We've seen a lot of leaked documents, memos flying around. But people are saying that it's not too early in this government to begin to have this kind of back and forth crisis, especially with ministers of the Tinubu government. Again, Beta Edu, people have said that, look, the back and forth as to why she has to transfer money, write a memo to the accountant general, and then transfer money into a private account. I've also seen some reports showing that I think in Kogi State there was an intervention for some vulnerable Nigerians, and I saw the list of how monies were to be spent. 1 million naira for media and publicity, hotel bookings, and I think in that venture, just in one intervention, 70 million was shared, under that ministry. Mr. Curtis, isn't it too early to begin to have this kind of crisis?
I'm surprised that you are surprised. So do you think that because there's a new government, it changes people's old character? Have you read about the same woman when she was commissioner in the Cross River State?
In Cross River State, yes. Of course, yes. Crisis, controversies, yeah.
So why are you surprised then?
No, I think the timing, they're barely settled into governance.
Does character take time to review? Your character is your core. I'm even surprised that any Nigerian is surprised about what is happening.
Okay, because we need to move very fast. I'm sure none of us is surprised to know just
no surprise.
Okay,
that ministry
is for chop. Now chop ministry.
We're only surprised for the person that's not surprised.
The surprise is that what is going on did not happen.
Okay,
that would have been a surprise.
That would have been okay. All right, so let's just move on now. Forex scandal again, another thing that I'm sure a lot of Nigerians should be surprised about because of the name involved now. Emefiele faces fresh charges as Dangote denies wrongdoing. That's on the Punch newspapers. Of course, I think it was on Friday or Thursday we got the report that officials of the EFCC stormed the headquarters of Dangote, the Dangote company, and took some documents away, and that is related to the probe of preferential allocation of forex to some companies. I think the Dangote company was listed, and I think 53 others. But Dangote is saying that look, we didn't do anything wrong. But again, I don't want to ask the question, are you surprised? But Dangote now named in this forex scandal. Does it come as a surprise? I'm going to start with you, Barrister Curtis. Dangote named in this particular crisis. Does it come as a surprise?
I hope you're not surprised again.
I'm not surprised. I'm asking you if it comes as the name involved now.
Look, before there was a change of government, even during the launching of the refinery, they were almost swirling around that it took Dangote too long to finish the refinery because apart from building the refinery, he was using it to get a cheap allocation of forex from the federal government, and that was even a bigger business for him and all that. That has been going on. Of course, we know that selective allocation of a forex is something that is happening.
It's a big racket.
Even as I speak to you, it's happening. Maybe when there's a change in government, those people will come and open up the books and weigh up about their own. So it's not anything new. It's something that is a daily occurrence in every government in Nigeria. So I'm not surprised.
Okay, all right, Nuruddin. Like I said during the week that the last time Comrade Oshore was on the round table, on the sidelines, he told me some things related to this, even before we got any news of this particular investigation. And what he said was that, look, like by Sarkozy I just said, there were news allegations at that time that the reason why that refinery took too long to complete was that there was some form of racketeering going on in terms of getting cheap forex allocations and then and all of that. So you may want to look at this again. Is this something that we should be excited about, that the fact that at least the EFCC now wants to step on big toes?
Look, you remember that I've said it over times. To the big men in Nigeria, not only Dangote, it is not a problem to get foreign currency. And don't forget what I told you. I stand to be corrected. There is no big men in Nigeria that doesn't have bureau de change certificates. They have access to it, officially or non-officially. And that is the reason why, for them to have a lot of dollars especially when they are having a national things that they are doing, and they will write officially to the government. So if the government or President Muhammadu Buhari has given it to them officially, and they should have a cause to really. But one thing that is so certain is that they have access to all this, and it's not peculiar to him. So if there is a need to ask questions
and investigate it,
I think it's very, very good to
this forex ace.
To say. Fuhad, the day they launch Dangote refinery,
yes,
Emefiele reported Dangote to, if we have serious security agency, reported Dangote to them, that Dangote have paid 70% of the loan he collected.
Even before the vine started working.
You borrow money, collect loan for business. The business never starts.
They've not even started up to now.
Then the CBN governor say, oh, he has paid 70% of the loan. If we have serious security agency that want to save the system, they would have just signal Emefiele after the launching
and ask him questions.
Please, tell us more. Can you give us? Tell us more, because this is unusual.
How you come here? How did you come into this place?
So Emefiele was surprising some of us. This man will never start
money.
Business.
He don't.
Emefiele that Dangote could pay 70% back, so that gave him some cash investing in Dangote refinery at the time. But they still went ahead and invested.
We'll continue to follow this particular report, like and every other report that now concerns the EFCC investigation, probes, and all of that. But let's just move straight into the issues for today. We're streaming the show live. It's Political Roundtable, Mainland 98.3 FM. We have Barry Show live on Facebook and on YouTube, and also we'll begin to read some of your comments and, of course, open the phone lines. But the first issue. Daniel 2023, he has claimed that the former vice president of Nigerian TV International, he has the knowledge, he has the energy. He's a president we never had. If any politician understands the private sector very well, it is Atiku Abubakar, and our economic can only become president. Like I said, in doing that, he's gone. At that time, he was SDP. That was in 1990. Party. Political peculiarities of Nigeria.
Okay, so no.
Okay.
Yeah, within his party, but in 2015, 2007, 3 times. It is going to be a candidate at his forums. You have to be a certain age to be voted for, but it does not have an exit point. In other words, if you are 70, 75, 80, you have to quit the stage. The second number Africa or civilians. Governor Bello of Kogi State, when he became, it's not even up to 50 yet. Is that
president? Yes,
he's 79. In Liberia, Liberians just kicked out a 57-year-old president for a
79-year-old man. Yeah,
Joseph Wike. South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa is 71, just like our own president Tinubu 71. Buhari became president at 72. Atiku is 77. Atiku will be 80 in 2027.
27.
But so that's for African scenario. But let's look at the global politics right now. From Bill Clinton down to the era of Obama, when America was electing 40 something. America elected Trump as president when he was 74. Now Trump is 77 and Trump is running. Joe Biden, who is the president, is 81. And Joe Biden is going to run. In China, Xi Jinping is going to be 71. The president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, is going to be 71. Now, I'm not suggesting that only old people can govern Nigeria. I believe that leadership is not about old age alone. It takes more than the age of a person to govern. So, let me answer your question directly. Atiku wants to run, he has the right to run. But this is my personal observation. I have watched the Waziri Adamawa for so many years. I believe that the Waziri Adamawa has what it takes to be president. I believe that nobody believes in the private sector more than him, like Bwala said. I believe that he has advocated for very significant policy shift in Nigeria, restructuring and so many. But from my personal observation, the Waziri Adamawa has lost some steps in the last few years. is not as vigorous and intense as it used to be. I will personally, as a friend, advise the Waziri Adamawa not to run.
Okay.
Rather, that he should look for someone who is talented and who is stronger than him, and provide a stable hand of an advisor from behind, rather than him injecting himself in the process. However, that decision to run or not to run is solely his and that of his political party. And whether Nigerians will vote for him considering his age, and considering that a significant proportion of our voting electorate today are young people who want a leader they can relate to, a leader with a Gen Z mentality, you know, whose focus is on technology and innovation. That is left for Nigerians to decide. But I do not believe that the mere fact that Atiku is old should prevent him from running. But that's his personal decision. Because even the young people that we had in government have not done anything more significantly.
No, but you think you should look for somebody younger that he can mentor and give
That's
the necessary
my personal
backing?
opinion.
Okay,
That's
now
my personal
on that,
opinion.
before I move to Nuruddin and Joseph, there's a missing link in what you said, and I want to know why you think that. Look, if you said, look, it does not matter, you gave a long list of leaders who some of them are even older than him, you know, outside the shores of Africa and in Africa. But why? What's that thing that you think should make him just look for somebody younger and support?
So,
in
like,
2027.
I said that I've watched him over the years.
All right.
And I see that it's no longer, it's missing some steps now. In other words,
I want you to be clear on that missing step.
Yes.
What are the missing steps you've noticed?
It's not as agile.
Okay, physically.
As it used to be anymore. And I think that at a certain age, your mental acuity begins to decline. Now, if you watch the Waziri Adamawa hold press conferences nowadays, he's counting his words. It's not as intense and vigorous as he used to be when he's holding press conferences.
Okay.
Even when you see him moving, he's labored. Unlike in the past where he's very agile, you understand?
I'm with you.
And we must look. One of the problems that Joe Biden is facing in the U.S. right now,
His age, yes, his age,
is that a lot of people believe that he's too old to want to continue as president. Because if he's elected again, he will probably be 85 when he's finishing his second term. And right now, Joe is missing some steps. 3 days ago, he gave a blistering speech. And when he finished the speech, his wife ran to the pulpit to try and hug him, right? Joe, having finished, should have just walked away, but he turned back and was still engaging with her, and the wife had to lead him away. This is part of what you see with age.
Okay. All right.
We can't deny that. So on that basis, and that's why I said the decision to run or not run is his. But my advice to him as a person is look for someone else that he can back with his experience.
All right. Okay. I want to come back to you, Nuruddin. By psychologist physically is looking at his age and his ability, you know, physically to really go to the rigor of campaigns, I assume, and do what it really takes, you know, to run the election in the next 4 years. In the next 3 years, you know, he will be 80, he's 77, and he thinks that on that basis, he would advise that he looks for someone else. But let's talk politics and strategy now. Whether we like it or not, we have a president that everybody considers a political master strategist. And that, look, you know, even if Atiku decides to run in 2027, he'll now be contesting against somebody who has serious capacity when it comes to politicking the way we play it in Nigeria. Do you think Atiku, let us even decide that he decides to run, he doesn't take the advice of Isakotis and he wants to run, or he decides to run, do you think he has the political think tank? Do you think he has that boiling room of political experts or politicians that can work with him? Daniel Bwala said that he's going to be leading a coalition of political parties. But beyond all of that, do you think there are people who can really come up with a strategy for him to run the race against, most likely, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, should the APC decide to give him a second term ticket?
Well, for me, I believe that Nigeria is not just the most populous black nation in the world. There are a lot of experts, if you want to call them politician technocrats, there are so many, and there are so many. I must confess. In fact, majority of those people that do the politicking, you don't see them outside. Forget about all those noisemakers, turn themselves spokesperson, these they are not the real person.
Guys that are doing
there
this.
Are some certain people that are think tanks that you don't see them. What they work for their money. You pay them as professionals, as a consultant, and they do their work. And that's the thing. In that case, there are a lot of them still available in Nigeria. Don't forget that in the last election, no matter the size of a party, every party has its own think tank for his own presidential campaign. So automatically there are many. But looking at Atiku, we should know, if you look at the fray of politics in Nigeria, we could say out of those people in that political cycle, we could say that Atiku is the oldest. Okay. In terms of those people,
and probably the most experienced.
And the most experienced because he was once the vice president for 2 tenures. It's not my mind. And don't forget, apart from that, for somebody that has been in one of the scorecard, and that is what Barrister Bwala was trying to nail on every time, is somebody that have the expertise in the private sector. And you can't take it away from where some certain politicians hold some certain businesses. They are denying that they don't have those businesses.
Well, he comes out to say,
he comes out, oh, this one belongs to me, this one belongs to him, and they are doing fine. At least the one that we know. Then another thing again is this: if you look at shoulder to shoulder, look at the last election, it shows that the margin in between both of them, in terms of size, in terms of money bags, in terms of influence, you discover that is not too that wide.
The gap was not that
that wide. Unlike the one of Obi, where you know that what really work for him are people on the street. You know that the gap between both of them compared to Obi is a little bit wide, because what worked for Peter Obi was just that there are sense of youth, there are some elite,
and the obedience generally, the youth.
And those people that even believe that they need to change that status quo. So it's really that work for him. So if you look at it money for money and the kind of experience he carries, out of all the presidential candidates in the last election, is the most experienced. Considering when you look at what he has done.
But do you think 2027 stands a chance? Because I want us to move to the next issue.
One thing there is that in every election, we are talking about politics now. We are not talking about emotion. Every politician that have contested in the last election have the chance in this upcoming
2027.
Because one thing that is there is just like you win a premiership. In the next one coming in, if they want to talk, will the whole Nigerian say? And what performance can they rate the current president
at that time?
And the top forces that people have been talking about, if the coalition that is talking about really metamorphose into something big and into something juicy to Nigerians, I think all these 3 cardinal points is going to go a long way in determining whether he has bigger chance
in 2027 or not. All right, I'm going to talk about coalition then. There's something about the PDP I want to ask by Mr. Curtis, but let's go into the issue of coalition, because Daniel Bwala has said that, look, to defeat this APC in 2027, there must be a coalition of political parties. Aliya Atiku Abubakar has also said something like that this is the time for people to come together. And if there's going to be any serious coalition, Joseph Olorunsho, I think the conversation has to be around what the obedience the Labour Party has been able to do. And I've seen people who have said that, look, there's no reason why the PDP and the Labour Party should not begin to find a way to work together if they're going to wrestle power from the APC in 2027. But again, we've seen statements from, again, the Labour Party is divided, so sometimes you don't even know who to listen to when it comes to the Labour Party. But we've seen officials of the Labour Party say, look, they are not in talks with the PDP on any coalition or not. They are still looking at what they've been able to achieve in the last election, and are of course strengthening the party to play proper opposition politics. But this issue of coalition, whether with the Labour Party or other political parties, and then Aliya Atiku Abubakar leading that coalition, do you think it's a possibility for 2027?
Well, I don't see the possibility there because assuming there is a coalition, I said we want Atiku Abubakar to come and lead that
coalition. That there has to be a coalition.
Thing.
Yeah,
it's a different thing. But when he said that he's going to lead a coalition, let's first of all see when he has opportunity to make a lot of difference. One, the conversation between him or relationship between him and the former president of Federal Republic of Nigeria, Obasanjo, it is because he could not manage it then. Because Atiku was very prominent in that administration when it was. I think it was more or less controlling the economics
at that time. Yeah. Even the governors.
Yes, all those kind of. He could not manage it very well. It led to crisis between him and Obasanjo. Then he had a good relationship with the current president before the ACA and even some business. But at the end of the day, there was one thing that make me to be doubting some of the things that maybe either his spokesperson or himself he said it, how he was not able to manage Wike IU issue. Because for me, it was an opportunity for him to show his political strategy. What would have been the difference if he just called IU in a close place and they have a conversation? IU would just come and say, okay, for the sake of Nigeria, for the sake of party, let me just resign on my own, so that whether the G5 whether they will continue at that very time. But he hold on to IU and the rest of them. At the end of the day, look at what happened. Then the second one is he was not equally able to manage relationship between Obi. He was in 2019. Obi was his running mate. So if he has the strategy would have used that, even though if Obi want to contest, he would have do everything possible to say, okay, do you know what? Can you be my vice? You understand? They have a discussion. If you can be my vice, maybe when we finish, I can say, okay. Even though you can promise,
so that the fact that
was promise, you can even promise, you know that the one that you know you will not honor. Oh, I will go for only one time.
But again, to be fair to him, I think he made overtures. He made attempts.
It's a strategy.
Because I remember
they met more than 4 times.
They met. He made attempts
on the strategy.
But you thought that he wasn't able to bring him in.
Then second one is this. Currently, I don't know whether it's in the country. By now, if you want to follow the strategy of the Jagaban of Africa, after 2007, I don't think Jagaban spent more time in Lagos and Nigeria more than any part of the world.
He was always around,
busy. Maybe know that
strategizing.
2023 he's coming, but I don't know what he's doing with his relationship between Atiku and Fintiri now, who is the governor of his state. Because you can start that build up from your state, conquer the whole state, then you now say, okay, let me navigate through other states from there down to the south. So my only thing is, let's wait for the coalition. But if he's to lead the coalition, it will not work. And if there are some other people that came out and say want to lead the coalition, I can bet you some of those individuals can be holding, they can be working for the ruling party.
Okay, there's something you have said, and that last part of the conversation, yes.
I was going to say something.
But I want you to take my question with whatever you want to say, because we need to move very fast here. Now, he has said something about the fact that, look, even if there's a coalition, there might be people who are going to be in that coalition who will be working for the ruling party. Barrister Curtis, let us look at the PDP. Whether we like it or not, it will be assumed that Aliya Atiku Abubakar will be running on the platform of the PDP unless something happens. But let us look at the PDP, which is supposed to be the biggest opposition political party in the country. There are people who think that the PDP is completely decimated. Sometimes you try to do a roll call of political heavyweights in the party, and you struggle to do that. Because when I say struggle, you are not even sure which party they belong to. You understand? So that's one. Number two, what do you think you can make of the PDP at this time? And then there are people who are also insinuating that, look, with the way it's going, we shouldn't be surprised even in 2027. The President Bwala and the APC, plants enough mole in the PDP to the point that they are the ones even deciding what happens in that party. Do you think Aliya Atiku Abubakar, if you look at what Folonsho has said, is actually on ground? He is walking the talk, putting up his strategy, reading the room enough to strengthen the PDP to the point where they can even stand a chance to wrestle power from the APC?
Okay, so let me tell you that the major opposition in 2027 will be APC itself.
Okay.
And a lot of people have forgotten so soon that in 2019, Nigeria's major opposition party was APC to APC. When people, I think it was in 2015, yes, 2015.
PDP
when
to PDP. Yeah, that's
when Saraki and Dogara emerged as
Speaker, yeah.
And President of the Senate. You know that the opposition was actually APC versus APC. Was an internal opposition. Now, I want to take us back to the supreme days of the PDP, where the battle to pick the ticket of the PDP was more intense than the battle to win the election. Why? Because everybody believed that once you are the candidate of the PDP, you will win the election, right? As we approach 2027, you are going to see the same thing happening in the APC. And this is where the PDP will draw its strength from. A lot of people who will be denied their seats, right?
In the
or
APC?
those who cannot get the ticket of APC will look for alternative platforms to run. And they will see the PDP as the next viable alternative. And they will go in there. Because as you realize, or you know, APC and PDP are two deep ends of the same water. The fishes are flowing to whichever is deeper.
From one end to the other easily.
There's no difference. So that is going to happen. Now the second point is that whether Atiku mismanaged or managed his prospect in the 2019, is it the last election?
2023, yeah.
You know, there are certain things that when they happen, when they want to happen, they are bound to happen. And no matter what you do, they will still happen. Atiku was in a very difficult position. What most Nigerians didn't know is that there was also a group of PDP governors who were telling Atiku that if he makes peace with Wike and forces Aliya out of his position, they too will withdraw their support for him. That who is Wike in the first place? That Wike will want to dominate everybody in the PDP.
But sorry to cut in. Don't you think at that time, Atiku, being the leader of the party, the candidate of the party, could have spoken to those governors to look at the bigger picture? That for the sake of the party, let us just rub the ego of Wike and move on.
See, let me tell you, he tried. And let me also tell you that I was consulted on that issue personally. And this is what I said to the Atiku camp. Ask Ayu to step aside.
Simple.
I said, you will have no meat to share until you kill one. So tell Ayu to step aside, and when you win the election and you become the president, right? You can make Ayu even the super chairman of the party. Nobody can stand on your way.
Because you are now the president.
But there was the counter move led by people like Tambuwa, who believed that Wike alone cannot dictate the fortunes of the PDP, and that Wike was only angry because he didn't get the vice presidential ticket. And you know, they had also promises from people in River State, people like Abiy Sekibo, and people like the former governor of River State, Celeste Nomeha
and co, yeah,
and co. So, but again, because like we all know, what happened in River State was not an election. You all know that. I mean, so the point is that, yes, you know, on a Monday morning, you can quarterback, like the Americans will say. Or after a match, like we say in Nigeria, you can score with your mouth. Only those who were in the field when the match was going on can tell you how difficult it was to score a goal. And I'm sure Arsenal supporters and fans will know that. You know, but I'm not trained.
I apologize to Arsenal fans. Yeah,
they are all my friends. As for me, we are Chelsea. We are number 10. We are proud of our number 10.
They say that number 10 has become a sort of destiny.
It's a permanent resident. Let me tell you, we are not going to be disappointed because we don't have a better hope than that. Now, the elephant that is on a tree, you know, elephants don't climb.
Okay.
That one will fall.
But let's not look. Again, I assume that yes, because we need to move to the next issue. Yeah.
You see, if you undermine Atiku's ability to organize, you'll be doing yourself the greatest distrust. More so that you have politicians in the country that are not driven by core values or ideology.
Money.
Anything can happen.
A man who has sustained himself for this number of years and is still a force should be given some respect. So don't put anything behind, above him.
Okay, we'll continue to follow that development. 2027 is still
very close,
because there are people there are people that will come up and say, why are people discussing about 2027?
But when they started the calculations,
I think by Sagosi was telling me in the morning while we're having just a little talk
permanent on campaign culture.
Yeah, there's a permanent campaign strategy. There's campaigin is always and it's only voters that go to sleep. Politicians they don't sleep.
The former presidential candidates of APC have they not come together and say we have a candidate already?
So if people are wondering why we're talking about 2027, it's because politicians, the campaign is always on. It's a permanent thing for them, and so we need to keep our eyes on it. But let's quickly go to Rivers State. Things are looking very interesting. Permit me to use that word, because again, one had thought that after the presidential intervention, the governor Siminalayi Fubara, Nyesom Wike were going to come back and then start their friendship again, or their relationship, as it were. The governor has said a lot of things after that time. He has said that no price is too huge to pay for peace. He has said that he's committed to implementing the 8-point agenda or directive of the president to bring peace back to the state. But we've been watching to see whether any of those 8 have been implemented. I think the only one we've seen is that the implementation notice have been dropped. The second one of representing the budget we have not seen. The reappointment of the commissioners we have not seen, and a number of those things on that 8-point agenda. Now, but let's listen to these 2 sound bites, please. By Secretary just hanging there, listen to this sound bite. I think the first one has to be that of Nyesom Wike, who was in Rivers State on Saturday. He paid a courtesy visit to the national vice chairman of the APC, Chief Victor Gaidom, in his hometown, and he was welcomed. There was a lot of partying and politicking, but he made some very interesting statements at that particular meeting. So after that, we now listen to what some groups of young persons in Rivers State are saying. They now call it the same movement in Rivers State, and that indeed the governor now has a structure, and they are also showing support and solidarity. So in between that rising support for the governor, Nyesom Wike is also saying something. Let's listen to these 2 sound bites, and then we'll come back to have deliberations on it. It's still Political Roundtable, Mainland 98.3 FM. So let's just listen to Nyesom Wike. He's still in Rivers State, still talking, but let's listen to what he said on Saturday.
Come here for politics. I came here to visit my friend, Chief Victor Gaidom. I was to be here on the 1st of January this year, but because I was outside the country, and I called him, I'm sorry, I will come today, being the 6th of January, to come and see you and drink the normal palm wine we used to drink together in those days before he left me. Let nobody misinterpret what I came here today. That's why I came with PDP leaders. That's why I've seen APC leaders. If it was about politics, you wouldn't have seen PDP leaders with me here. So it is about private visit to my friend. And my friend is in normal way. Will you want to tell me, oh boy, I'm still on ground. I must invite my people to come up with you. So that is what you said that happened there today. And I appreciate you. And I have never been in doubt about your capacity. Forget about these hungry noisemakers on the road. When the time comes, we'll know who is in charge or who is not in charge. I don't know whether you understand what I say. There's a time for everything. There's a time to plant. There's a time to harvest. We have no time for politics. There's no time for anybody to say, and for this and for that. We have not reached that time. When the time will reach, we will know who is there, who If he didn't dare, he didn't dare. If you like, abuse me as you want. If you like, employ everybody in social media. Let me tell you, I've never bothered myself one day to know who's abusing me, who's not abusing me.
All right. Well, well, that was the voice of the FCT minister here, some Wike. Okay, let's listen to it. Like I said, there have been different solidarity support movement in support of the governor, Siminalayi Fubara. And you know, there was one that was organized on Saturday, and the youths in that particular rally had a lot to say. I want us to listen to what these youths are saying, this group of people are saying, as they now create a solidarity group in support of the governor. Let's quickly listen to that, and then we'll come back to redeliberate on these issues.
And somebody make you chairman 1999. And somebody give you chairman second tenor. Now can give you chief of staff. Jonathan and the wife make you governor. How you treat them?
The 17 wards of Obiakpor local government area to ensure that same movement gets to all the nooks and crannies. After now, we will be going unit by unit to sensitize the people and to tell the people that the structure of SIM is even in the unit. And so we are solidified.
The Igbo people are warriors in their right. So when we decide to follow you, we are following you out of love. If you remember, when the former governor Rotimi Amechi felt that he has arrived and he dared Rivers people told him, we are not going to follow you. Did we follow him?
You can see that all those who are working with Fubara are youth. I'm a youth, or other youths are with him, because this is time for the youth. Not the past governor who loves old people. This is time for young people, and Rivers people are celebrating.
So we have come to let the entire world know that Siminalayi Fubara remains the governor of Rivers State. That he earned our vote. He was not handpicked. He was not just nominated. Several insinuations are out there that one man made him governor. That is not correct.
That one man made him governor, that is not correct. That's the last part of that soundbite. Now, Mr. Curtis, I'm sure you listened to the two soundbites. Okay, now, okay, this is Mainland 98.3 FM. It's Political Roundtable. I can see a lot of comments dropping on our Facebook platform. Like I said, we're streaming the show live on Facebook, and you can watch the show live on Facebook. Drop your comments. Don't worry, I'm going to spend enough time reading out the comments on our Facebook and YouTube platform, so you can go right on the platform to watch the show live on Facebook and YouTube, and don't forget to like and share our Facebook social media handles, so of course, so that other people can also enjoy what you are enjoying as we dissect critical political issues in Nigeria at this time. Like I said, just drop your comments on our Facebook, YouTube platform. I will take them when we start to read out comments and pick phone calls. Again, we are still going to open the phone lines when the time comes. But let's go straight to the issue by Mr. Curtis. Wike is saying that, look, this is not the time for politics. I don't know. He said it's not in Rivers for politics for now. He's just there to realign with his old friend, Chief Victor.
He went to farm.
He didn't take cutlass there or you know, to realign with him, and that, look, they should forget the noisemakers. When the time comes, they will know who is in charge.
Poor noisemakers. Those people he made poor by his policies.
Let me just finish. I will allow you to speak to the issue. And look, these are just noisemakers. You know, when the time comes, we'll know who is in charge. You know, that's the way. If he didn't day. Okay, so that's number one. Then, of course, you listen to the groups who are now saying there's something called the SIM movement in Rivers State, and they are saying that, look, this is the governor. In fact, some of them said that, look, nobody can dictate to you. You are a governor. We support you. We are seeing that, and people have also said that, look, all of the times that Nyesom Wike, the supposed godfather of Siminalayi Fubara, has been in Rivers, we have not seen the governor with him, Fubara. In fact, before we started the show, Wike was still on TV at a banquet, you know, talking and making all of those comments. I was with Nuruddin Joseph Lodge trying to check whether we see Fubara there. He was not there. Okay, on Rivers State, how complex is this political crisis in Rivers State, Barrister Curtis?
Well, you know my stand on this issue. I believe that there can only be one governor at a time. There was Peter Odili as governor of Rivers State. There was Rotimi Amechi. There was Wike, and now there is Sim. Now, yes, some people somewhere may have facilitated or might have facilitated the emergence of these guys. As you know, there is no human being in this world who has not been helped before. But the fact that you have been helped or you have helped somebody does not mean you have to stay in control of their lives forever. Like that guy, the young man who spoke, said, from Wike's testimony himself, we got to know that Odili appointed him local government chairman twice. We also got to know that Amechi made him chief of staff and nominated him to be minister. And we know that the wife of the former president and her husband, Patient and Jonathan, gave him the ticket of the PDP in Rivers State. We also know that Odili, whom he has adopted as his political godfather, lives in Abuja, and Odili, of course, has never played the role of godfather over Wike. We know that Wike, as governor of the state, was an emperor. Nobody could tell him anything, nobody could dictate to him. So you expect that he will learn from what happened during his own time. However, as you know, people do not want people want to do things to others what they will not accept that anybody will do to them.
To them, yeah.
Yeah. I think that it would be hypocritical of me to say that Wike did not play any role in the emergence of team. That's not correct. Wike played a significant role. And we know why he did that. Don't forget that at the point, the EFCC declared Sim wanted. Sim was the accountant general of the state. And Tim knew where all the bodies are buried. And he had no immunity. So the EFCC felt that he was a weak link in getting to Wike. And then they declared him wanted. And Wike was out blasting the EFCC. He said it was politics. People who didn't want what he was doing in River State, they were trying to stifle his progress and all that. So that ticket was given to Tim because he wanted Tim to get immunity, and for a long number of years to come, he will have that immunity. Nobody can prosecute him, and whatever him and Wike did in River State will not come out. So that was the purpose. And two, he also wanted a third term, and he felt that he could get that third time from Tim. And of course, at some point, he was succeeding. Look at the number of commissioners he alone nominated. Look at the number in the House that are loyal to him. You will find out that the team is just at the top of the pie. What was used to build the foundation of the pie, he doesn't know.
But his current comments of, no, I'm not in Rivers for politics. When the time comes, we'll know who's in charge. Forget the noisemakers. What are the implications of those statements from Yesom Wike at this time?
He went to River State to farm. So he didn't go there for politics. I agree with him on that one. Okay. On that one.
He said he went to see his old friend.
Yeah, see, here is the point. Don't forget that the same Victor Giadon became Wike's enemy.
Of course, yes.
Because he was in the PDP. And now that Wike's soul is in the APC and his body is in the PDP, he's beginning to reach out to his old friends, quote and unquote. That's fine. But you see, he is looking for opportunities to air his political views on the crisis in River State. Don't forget that the president called them together and called for ceasefire. Now, you mentioned that out of the 8 points agenda, Tim, while he's out there telegraphing a message of peace, his actions are different from what he's doing.
From what he's doing?
because and what Tim is doing is to say, Mr. President, I agree with the terms.
And I will do what you have said, right? Don't worry.
I'm already doing that.
But you see, I have a group of elders at home too who are my supporters, who are not comfortable with this situation, but don't worry, Mr. President, give me time. I'm talking to them, they will come around. While he's digging deep his feet, because
are you saying he's deceiving the president?
No, he's not deceiving the president. He's being strategic in attempting to go. So, because you see, he knows, and you know, and I know, that this is just the beginning of the problem. Because what is at stake is so huge that Wike is not just going to let go, except he's forced to let go. And that's why, you see, if anybody is telling you that it's not worried, the person is lying to you. Because listen, you are the person anchoring this program.
Political ROUNDTABLE, yeah.
Right now. Now, will it not be strange if you come there and say, look, you open up the broadcast, you say, listen, today I'm not here to talk about politics, but let me tell you something.
I'm in charge.
We will know who is in charge. It means you're already doubting that you are not in charge. So Wike is seeing the watering away of his influence in Rivers State. Why? Because Tim has the power, has the resources at this moment. And Tim is playing kindly with the president by reassuring him, I still believe in peace. But you know what? He told you and I last week, the pen is still in my pocket. And this is what they wanted. That pen that signs away all the money. Do you understand?
Yes, I'm with you. Yes, he said it, that this is the pen they want to collect from me. I still have it. This red pen.
I am the winner.
I am the winner.
And Wike on his side is sending a silent message to Tim. We are in charge. No matter what you are doing.
When the time comes, we'll know who is in charge.
We will get you in one of those two instances. Either we get you now by impeaching you, or we get you when you want to seek re-election. That is why he's saying to him, those poor hungry people that you think are your supporters now, they have nothing to offer you. That is the meaning of it didn't day. If it didn't day, it didn't day.
But let's say this, right, before I move to Nuruddin and Joseph Olonsho. Where do you think all of this would end? What are you seeing? Is there anything you're seeing ahead?
So this is what I see ahead. Wike's options are limited. You know why?
Why?
Because Wike is not in the PDP right now, and Wike will not be able to determine what happens in the PDP.
He's not in the PDP?
I said his soul is in APC. His body is in the PDP.
So it's a divided human being.
A human being is controlled by his soul.
Okay.
So Wike will not be able to deny Sin the ticket of the PDP.
So why is it not moving to the APC? Don't you think you should just move to the APC? Wike
is waiting for the right.
Wike has created so much problem by his mouth. Don't forget that he called the PDP headache and APC cancer.
Mm-hmm.
You say I have a headache and you're telling me to go and take cancer. You know, if you look back and all the sound bites that he put out there, while he was trying to negotiate his political landscape, there were a lot of things that he said. He's going back on so many of them now. Oh, like for instance, if you defect from one party to the other, you have to lose your seat, go back to your people, and all that and all that. But when he had the opportunity to practicalize it, what did he do? He balked. You understand what I'm saying?
I'm with you.
So this is going to be an intensive battle, but I think right now Tim is being strategic, and Tim is hoping that he will get to a point where the president himself will begin to understand and say, look, Tim is willing, but the Rivers people themselves are unwilling, and Tim cannot afford to lose that critical support of the Rivers State people.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Sim is winning, and eventually the president may read the room and think that, well, if the governor has people on his side, probably just allow things to remain the way they are. Again, no.
Let the governor of Abuja continue as governor of Abuja.
And leave the governor of Rivers to be governor of Rivers. But Nuruddin, you listen to Barrister Curtis. Like I said, after the 8-point directive and the statement of the governor that, look, he's willing to implement everything. He's a man of peace, and there are no... there's nothing too much really as price to pay for peace. A lot of us thought that, look, in fact, we said it on the show. A lot of analysts said it that, look, he was signing his he was a political death warrant, and it was a political suicide if he decides to implement. So, but we're waiting to see how he's going to go ahead to implement all of these things. If you look at it critically, Nuruddin, has he implemented any of those 8 points? Because again, the factional speaker loyal to him, Edison he resigned, and has now been appointed as chief of staff. And what we are hearing is that appointment in itself is very strategic. That there's a reason why he decided to bring the guy into his inner circle. Now, budget has not been represented. The commissioners that resigned have not been restored to their position. the house has not been reinaugurated.
The demolition is just there.
The house, even the state assembly is still remains demolished as it is. So if you look at Rivers, what's the game? What do you think is the game that we are seeing in Rivers State? Wike is still talking tough. He's saying he didn't day. The song that the supporters of the governor are singing at this time, that the governor is also dancing to, is the day your day make I day my day, make nobody disturb nobody. So if you look at those two sound bites, who is in charge will be known when the time comes. He didn't day with make nobody disturb nobody, day your day make I day my day. What's going on in Rivers from your own estimation?
Well, currently now, I think this is the biggest test for the FCT minister.
Yes, on Wike.
Politically, outside his comfort zone. His comfort zone has been when he was governor. No, that was his no. You recall that even during it when he was the local government chairman, he was not as ruthless and when he's a governor.
Or very vocal as this.
So now, this is the first time. This is the first test he has
after the position of governor.
So no immunity. In fact, if the governor wants to rough handle him in Rivers State, he will do it the way we know our politicians to do.
Because the governor has
you know the power of the governor, he will rough handle. What was the reason why Amechi left Rivers State for him?
For Wike.
So automatically it can also happen, but because of the personality of Fubara, looking at him, you will see that is not the kind of person that
is not a very vocal or so rough.
But those kind of people are the people that you should.
And most dangerous.
They are the most dangerous. Now, what he has just done, we call it sit down the look approach to the president. Number one, currently now, president knows that he cannot remove him as a governor. He knows that in fact constitutionally he can't remove him as a governor. The state house of assembly that can remove him, there is a K-leg there.
That one is not even.
You know the K-leg that is there.
Yes.
People always say it. The house of assembly can impeach the governor. You cannot impeach a governor without the commissioner for justice.
And there's none currently.
They say that one is vacant. Automatically, you know that one. They can make that particular ministry vacant till the end of the tenure.
I know. Go to collect salary.
So that one is another thing.
Because he might not appoint anybody.
If he didn't appoint anybody, he may even appoint a commissioner, and you make sure that commissioner, there will be commissioner for justice.
And so what would you do?
Because there is no rule that says you must appoint somebody as commissioner of the. You just appoint commissioner.
And it must start with somebody preparing all of that.
Yes, and the permanent secretary is there now, and he will be the one in charge. So, and one thing again, then another thing again is this. Currently now, Fubara has upper hand. One is the governor. He's in charge of the resources of the state.
Of the state, yeah.
Another thing again is this. Look at the style he has done now. You don't want the guy to be the speaker. No problem. Come and be chief of staff. Fuhad, you and I know. In Nigeria today, if you want to pick the most powerful people, number 2 in Nigeria, forget about all these vice president number 2.
Or deputy governor.
Forget. Chief of staff. He can decide. You can be in the state and you will not see the governor for 4 years.
If the chief of staff doesn't want you.
If he doesn't want you. So automatically now he has put in the guy. And don't forget, the political structure behind the guy also speaks something, especially the sympathy that is going to come with it. Now, what is not happening is this. Wike wants to be having a shot. And what is the way he can have it? He's not a governor again. The way he used to call press conferences, he can't do it again.
He's doing one today. He has an event today.
It's just an event. Every event that he has in Rivers State, he wants to use it
to talk and make a statement.
He can't be doing it, before. Every 2 days, his press conference. He can't do it again. And Abuja people are waiting for him too. So, he can't do it again. Now, you want to make sure that he has his voice in the media, and that is exactly what you know.
So do you think this strategy is what we're seeing now? Do you see Sim, being more strategic? He's not just making the noise, but he's being more strategic. Is that what you're seeing?
Look at it from this side. Wike's political side want him impeached. Fails.
That has failed for now.
2, he wants the House of Assembly to make sure they teleguide his movement.
That has not been done.
That one and also has been moved. Then the third one is that Wike political side wants to have say in the financial activities and what is going on in Rivers State. Failed.
It has also failed for now.
For now. So what is now happening now is this. What Wike was trying to do is to make sure he tried to build a lot of momentum. That is why a friend that he has not visited in the last 8 years.
He suddenly remembers that he's in that state.
And he now remember they used to take palm wine together. So automatically that is the thing. Then for the Fubara, what I think he should be thinking now. One thing there is this. How am I going to give the... He has started with the housing scheme because that one is laudable. About 20,000 housing units for the poor. So if he can try much as possible to impress
and win the people
to his side, because the only thing that he needs now, politically, legally,
is the people of Rivers State.
He has almost 80 to 85%. But he needs the power of the people, and he can only do that with good governance. So if he can do whatever he's going to do within now and the next 2 years to deliver the dividend of democracy
and win the Rivers State people to his side.
And don't forget, Supreme Court is 1/0 already. You know the reason? The only contender that can give him all the
Labour Party has
already withdrawn his own case. So what is now to do is that he must make sure give the dividend of democracy. If he can do that, and also he plays his politics right moving forward, and don't forget, PDP also is also going to court, but I'm not sure if they've already filed their own suit as regards.
They also have a case.
So they also have
the defecting lawmakers.
Against the defecting lawmaker. If he can do what he just has to do is that with the people to his side, look at your power with the machinery of the people that you have, and traditionally that Rivers State is a PDP state. I think is a way that things can even come up for him.
Okay,
at least for now.
Okay, for now, at least you think that he has about 85% chance of surviving this onslaught from Yeson Wike and surviving and eventually consolidating on it. But Joseph Olonsho, people are saying that look, Fubara probably has studied the template in Edo State, or Obaseki's template, and that maybe he's making it, he's just working that template,
tweaking it a little.
And that look, if we are not careful, he's going to maintain the status quo and rule for 4 years. That's what some people are saying, that we just discover that you have a lame duck whatever assembly, the cabinet will be half empty as it is, and that look, nothing stops him from ruling, continue ruling as it is, and nothing will change. But what are you seeing in Rivers State? We need to make it very fast so that we can move to the next issue.
Let me start this way. If I have someone that's very close to Wike, or if anybody that's listening is very close to Wike, I will advise. I don't want you to look at it as an insult, but that's what the first thing is. Wike should look for a cognitive psychology and interact with him.
Okay.
As he is now. The reason is this: in my village, you know this snail. You put snail in the fire. The snail is on very hot this thing.
Yeah.
It's a very simple. So bringing out water, I will quench the fire. Whereas before you know what's happening, the shell is leaking
already,
and that's both mouth and the other side of that may just be the end of that snail. Be the next thing for it to find himself in the stomach of the person that put him there. The issue is this: Wike was once a governor of that same state. There's something that he will not take. Fubara did not ask those commissioners to resign. They resign on their own. So it's possible that the man is still looking for cabinet people to replace. He even though if it would take him 8 years.
But part of the directive told him to restate them.
He did not ask them to resign.
No, but he said he has signed and is willing to implement the directive from the president.
You know,
when I thought that should take him just 48 hours to do.
Oga Fuhad, in psychology, they say what you need to be very, very careful with what the person did not say when he's saying what he's saying.
What the person did not say
when he's saying
what he's saying. The unsaid things in what the person is saying.
So he's obeying the president's directive.
To what extent now?
And he's obeying according to, there's no time, as he's taking it gradually.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay, maybe the president should have said, look, within the next 2 weeks.
So there was no definite time.
And don't forget that the president did not have that power according to constitution.
Then the other one is this. I think Fubara is a very nice person.
Okay.
It's a very. I know some individual in Nigeria that I know the extent that Wike can go.
If he was in the shoes of Fubara.
If I'm in the shoe of Fubara, because it maybe because Wike is less busy in Abuja. For example, if there are serious
issues in Abuja, he won't have time.
Wike will not. I'm not talking of construction. You know the issue of that time that the shade movement.
Yes.
So many things that the president will have. What are you doing with these people? That what you do to before you to be calling the director of DSA, the IG,
everybody.
You will know what is going on
in Rivers State.
So I think Wike should just look at it that the promise that he made, which is fighting seriously for, is it's just a button. The president will say, okay, there are a lot of things that people are complaining that you are not in PDP, you are not in APC. I think it is better you can resign. But Wike's issue is, if I resign, where am I going to? That's one of his challenges. Then the second one is this. Wike has been used to one of our vice president of University of late vice president of University of Lagos, Professor Jide Following. He do say one thing when he's interacting with students, that people should learn how to live outside office. I think Wike did not plan his lifestyle
outside
after office, and that's what is actually hurting him. And that's why I say he need to sit with a cognitive psychology
to help him
out. Change a lot of things. You know, Wike was annoyed with that parish. They say a whole ex-governor of Rivers State and a minister of FCD come to the church and he was not recognized. You know, we show that he hasn't been debriefed of life after office as a governor. So let his wife or his children choose, find a way
to sit in and say,
if not, he's still a minister. Tomorrow, if President Bola Tinubu say thank you for coming,
that's
maybe in fact area boy will be a child play.
Okay, all right. Barrister Curtis Adigba.
Okay. I needed to add something.
All right.
Though unintended, but I think the most beautiful thing about these conflicts that we're having in different states is that for the first time, the governors have the opportunity to begin to focus on the people and on the development need of the people. You understand?
Yes, I'm with you.
Because the trade-off for these governors is to say, okay, I'm quarreling with my political godfather. Let me actually serve the real godfather that I have, which is the people themselves.
So there's something positive coming out from this crisis we're seeing.
That is the only thing, and that's what we are seeing in Rivers and in Benue State.
Let's go to Benue. Let's go to Benue, Barrister Curtis. Well, it's still Political Roundtable, Mainland 98.3 FM. We have Barrister Curtis Adigba on the phone lines with us, and Nuruddin Adegnero is here. Joseph Olorunso. We've looked at Atiku contesting again in 2027, as said by Daniel Bwala. We have looked at the crisis in Rivers State, the updates, what we are getting, the sound bites, and all of that. Now, I think we can do this in 5 minutes. Benue, the crisis in Benue State. There was a primary in Benue, a particular local government in Benue State. That's Guma State Constituency 1. A particular assembly member had been appointed as commissioner, and then there's a need for a by-election to fill that position. So, of course, the APC was to have their primaries. But the governor, Reverend Father Aliya, ordered the immediate suspension of the primary election, saying that, look, there was threats to the peace and security of the state and all of that. But again, on that same day, officials of the party who had come to conduct that primary, the state ESCO, had said that, look, they've conducted the primary and the winner has emerged. And what we are getting is that, look, those ESCOs are actually loyal to the supposed godfather of the governor, that's Senator George Akume, who is the SGF to the federal government. So, but again, so that we don't spend too much time on this. What's going on in Benue State, Barrister? I want us to finish this conversation in 5 minutes. So I might just give you 2-3 minutes to
what is going on in Benue State?
What is the issue in Benue State between the governor and the godfather?
Politics. Toxic politics. See what happened, If you notice, all the people that contested against this governor in the primaries of the APC are back to Akume's good graces. When he turned 70 a few days ago, he had this massive party. And recently he was back in Benue for homecoming. And you saw people like the former Attorney General Andaka, who were opposed to Aliya and all that were all there with Akume pledging their loyalty. The simple thing is, Akume had hope that this guy is a reverend father, he doesn't have a political base, he was immensely popular with the people, but that didn't mean that he was going to be able to win an election. But Akume capitalized on it and said, with this guy, it's going to be easier for me to win and then dominate the politics of the state. Don't forget that after I finished serving as governor, he brought Gabriel Suswan. He had a falling out with Gabriel Suswan. He then supported Otom, whom he brought from the PDP to APC. Him and Otom fell apart, and then Otom went back to the PDP. He stayed in the APC. His candidate lost. This time around, he needed to reclaim the seat back. He went for a man that he thought was pliable. That's Father Aliya, right? And from the one, he wanted to take charge of his government. He insisted he must produce the Speaker of the State House of Assembly. The governor's candidate defeated him by his candidate by one vote. And since that moment, the romance ended. And like I told you, one significant thing that is happening in Benue is that all the governments that Akume had controlled in the past, their biggest problem was paying civil servants and pensioners in the state their salaries. Again, the good thing that, or the beautiful thing coming out of this conflict for survival and conflict for control between the governor and Akume is that the governor again is
serving the people,
paying pensioners. In fact, they have nicknamed him 25
because he pays on the 25.
He pays on the 25. This December, you know, where many states were struggling to pay, he paid the civil servant in Benue State on the 15th of December so that they can go and enjoy their Christmas. So, because you see, why notwithstanding that Akume is secretary to the government of the nation with a lot of power and leverage in Abuja, he's still not satisfied. He wants to control the appointment of every commissioner in Benue State. He wants to be the one that will select all the chairman of the local government. And he knows why. Because these are the foot soldiers for subsequent election, you know, in the state. And that is what the governor is fighting to protect his stuff by saying, listen, yes, you help me, but I'm the governor here. Nobody controlled you when you were the governor. You won't control me. I'm ready to cooperate with you, but I'm not ready to surrender completely my office to you. That is the conflict. Nothing is beyond. Conflict is about control of power, control of the resources, control of the opportunities that are available in Benue State.
By Curtis, 30 seconds. There are people who have said that, look, this Abuja state crisis, you know, Yesom Wike, FCT minister, having problem with his governor in Rivers State, the SGF in Abuja trying to control the governor in Benue State. There are people who have said that, look, can we have a situation, for example, or can we get to a situation where the president begins to find a way to rein these guys in, this is Abuja people in, and tell them to face their work? Do you think the president would go that line to say, look, guys, face the Abuja work and leave the governors to be governors of their states?
Well, you are setting me up. And you know, very soon people will begin to abuse me because you know what I will say.
I just asked an innocent question.
This president does not have the political appetite to do that. You know why? These guys are just lifting a page from his own playbook. After serving as governor of Lagos State, I see not the same president who has been producing governor after governor. Look, let's even be frank to ourselves. Can someone who attempt what Aliya is doing in Benue or what Same is doing in Rivers State with the president? Can he attempt it? I beg, don't set me up this Sunday for people to abuse me. You know?
All right, thank you so much. I think I have to allow Mr. Curtis go at this stage. Thank you so much for finding time to join us on this. I think it's been very fantastic having you call us in all the way from the United States of America. Enjoy your holiday. We hope to see you back safe and sound. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being a part of you. Nuruddin, 1 minute. Benue, this Father Aliya, they said he's Mr. 25. He pays on the 25th, and that the people are behind him. Do you think that he may also win the battle against the Godfather George Akume?
The way it's going now, I think everybody that wants to be a governor now, they've gone to read history book, especially Nigerian government and politics, and now it's been played from 1999 till date.
All right.
If you look at the template of Reverend Father Aliya, you will discover that the first step that he did was that making sure that he is the one that produced
the speaker.
And that is the first one. Number 2 is that he has decimated the offices of local government. There are still a lot of problems.
He does remove everybody.
So now, then another thing again is this. Question should come to mind. How come the president has not called the SDF and the governor? At least they are from his party. Maybe if you can call people from PDP, why can't you?
But this one are APC guys, yeah.
How come it didn't? What it means?
No, maybe the crisis has not gotten to that point.
What is now?
But because for now, let's be a bit fair to SDF George Akume. He has not altered a word so far on this issue.
But not altering the word. Did he say anything?
But with what happened? With what happened during the primary
and of course his visit to the state in recent time, yeah.
What it means is that they are bringing crisis. So one thing that is going to happen now that Father Aliya is doing very well. There are some things he has that Fubara did not have in Rivers, but there are some things that Fubara has that he doesn't have that he's willing to have. One of the things that he has had is that he has beginning to win the civil servants and the pensioners to his side. Because every civil servant, the only way you can really have problem with civil servants is that don't pay salary at when due.
So he has them on his side.
Then the pensioners that a lot of state governors always just overlook. And
he's working with them.
He's not working with them. What it means is that he's building base among the people. Then the legislature, the angle of I will impeach you is not going to be possible. He has the speaker. And the House of Assembly member, they always after money. Especially when those ones that are with Akume, they are not the speaker. Either they play along and get what is due to them, or they don't play along,
they lose out completely
and nothing will come to them. So,
right.
And that is the thing. But one thing that is so important now is this. I think it's the right time that the president have to speak out. Because what it means is that as secretary to the federal government, where you have a lot of bulk of work and you still have time to do the politicking at home, fine. What it means is that the job is
will
not
suffer
enough.
Okay, the job will suffer. Joseph, 30 seconds because I need to open the phone line. We've seen a lot of message drop on our Facebook platform. Please keep sending your message to our Facebook platform at Mainland 98.3 FM. Also, we're streaming the show on YouTube and Facebook. We're going to start to read some of these messages and of course open the phone lines to take your calls and contributions. Just 30 seconds. Reverend Father Aliya, is he also getting strategic just like Fubara?
Well, he's been he's a strategist, and again, you know, he's a Reverend Father. He's a man of God. His treasure
is praying well.
His treasure is in heaven.
Okay.
So he want people to on earth to enjoy on earth. Enjoy.
He has nothing to lose, really.
He has nothing to lose. Then secondly, I think the people should not capitalize, both whether people in Rivers State or people in Benue, that power actually belongs to the people. All of them, whether the governor rushing down to the people, now please, so you push, you help me. This is the time for the people to now stand for the governor of Benue State. And I do say it here. See, if the governors are doing the right thing, we will not be crying to Abuja or to the president. I was in Benue State sometime, I think 2018. The issue of insecurity issue there. I think the secretary to the federal government should support the governor and say, okay, how do we eradicate this
insecurity
so that the farmers should
return to
go
farm.
back to the farm, so that the Benue State will still be the food basket of the nation. Not all these are just
distractions.
So let the president make the FG to be the secretary to the government to be very busy.
All right, okay, we open the phone lines now. 09136 000 410. 09136 000 410. Please, we're going to be very strict with time today. Just 1 minute for every call because we have a lot of messages on our Facebook platform to also read. So you can drop your message on our Facebook platform and YouTube, and also make an attempt to call in, but 1 minute for every caller. We're going to be very, very strict with the calls this evening. Hello, good evening to the first caller.
Good evening, Saheed.
Yeah, good evening.
I'm Kyle from Abeokuta.
Yes, good evening, sir.
Since you are giving us 1 minute, let me just don't greet anybody again.
Okay, just go on.
In fact, I greet them in Jesus' name.
Amen.
You see, in fact, the only significant role Wike played in Rivers State that brought Fubara as governor was just to write up orders. And what do I mean? You can imagine that if you begin to see the reason why you are the Lord and Omega, that you can do and undo, do or die affair, that is illegality. Means that, yes, I'm going to make sure that I install you. And you have installed your godson, but why don't you leave him alone? And the clear implication here is what I am saying is that, very interesting, is that, look, how can we not be worried if you are in a particular family, particularly the family of PDP, and you are throwing stone to another family? I mean, from your own family, from another family, you are now
to your own family,
former family before. What are you saying? It means that you are not supposed to be recognized any longer. That you don't, let me say one is a bastard. No, please. Sorry for that word.
All right.
That means that we need to begin to see reason why we must choose to know that we need to choose qualified leaders. Leadership is in demand. Is in demand in this country.
All right.
I wonder. So why should we continue like this? I give it to Fubara.
All right.
Fubara, wisdom is supreme for you. God
Wisdom
bless
is
you.
supreme. I like that. Thank you so much, Charlie from Abeokuta. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, good evening.
Hello, good evening. Oga Fuhad.
Yes, your name, sir.
I just saludo. My name is Malam Salah.
Oh, Malam Salah. Where are you calling from this evening?
I do come from Alagbado.
Okay, 1 minute, please.
1 minute.
Yes, 1 minute today. We have, we don't have a lot of time this evening.
Oga Fuhad, if that should be, I don't have anything to comment.
Just say, talk on one thing. Is it Atiku, Benue?
Atiku.
Oh yeah. Sharp. 1 minute. You can. 1 minute. Yes. Oh yeah. Now you can say it in 1 minute.
Okay. You see this Atiku issue. Atiku should go arrest because he lost political value. If you look at Atiku political tactics carefully, most of his votes come from the south here, not from the north. You understand? And he's already is displaced in the southern part of Nigeria. As we speak, we have only one governor, one PDP governor in the southeast. You understand?
I'm with you.
So even though we are to go by governors wherever, he's already lost political value in the west, south here. Down to north, already he don't have that value. One, he has a spiritual issue. There is one this scholar called Sheikh Jafar Mahmoud Adam, the next Jafar Adam. He said that power will hungry Atiku, but he will never get it.
Okay.
And that prayer has come to pass. The reason is very simple. He make a particular comment that God doesn't answer a prayer of a common man, a poor man. God doesn't answer his prayer. You understand?
All right.
He made this comment very long. And after tomorrow, the Telekawas are still reminding him that why can we vote for you? After you say that God doesn't answer our prayer, we can't vote for you.
I can't remember.
And he got all those number of votes.
All right. Thank you so much, Malam Salah. So you think Atiku should not bother? God bless. Well, I don't know about past comments, but it is what it is. Hello, good evening. Yes. Pastor Ambrose, good evening.
Yes, good evening. Good evening. Nuruddin, Adekwero, and
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
This man they call Fubara, I really don't understand him, honestly. I'm looking at him as somebody who operates by action. And such people are dangerous. Because he will say one thing. You know, I said it the other time, I said the man who will rescue himself is Fubara. So, Wike is making noise. This man is strategizing. That's what I discovered about him. Silently, he's dismantling Wike. And I'm telling you, he is trying to create the impression to Wike that he's not fighting him, but he's Kokoro don't care for. That's the kind of person that Fubara is. And some people are very dangerous. I'm telling you, somebody who can go and demolish a whole House of Assembly complex and yes, all people.
All right.
On the issue of the Benue and the
30 seconds more. Yes, Pastor Ambrose.
Yes, I think until we begin to play the politics of, we have seen that no matter how you put somebody there, they will never owe allegiance to you. We have seen it, but politicians are greedy, and that's why these things keep on reoccurring. And once you leave office, like you people said, you have left office, you are no more relevant.
They should learn that. All right. Thank you so much, Pastor Ambrose. God bless you, sir. Hello, good evening.
A very good evening to all the fellow mates.
Good evening, Prince Wise.
Thank you. More blessing for all of you.
Amen.
About Atiku. if Atiku should remain PDP and ready to contest 2027, with a big whoever to will be join him.
I don't think.
For be stay in the Labour Party, they think he can win 2027 with only one governor. And the best thing for B now to go back to PDP. Let me slug it out to Atiku. If he emerge, fine. Atiku, if you love Nigeria very dearly, you should know 8 years for the north, 8 years for the south. And these people have been contesting, making attempt this 6 times. This Abiola P the time. Atiku, for me, if you love Nigeria, it's has the Southern to go for a second time. And for Fubara, where are we placing Fubara?
Fubara, not Fubara.
Fubara.
Yes.
If Arodi has said a point, if he made a mistake, his government move accordingly. Now as it is, I can't be praising him. With that this man bringing out from primary, can people of River vote for him? That's agreement which we don't know. And for me, if somebody say he's winning what? He should concentrate and cover the River State accordingly. We can make a statement, and when he's making statement in River, it's when it was commission project. Nobody can tell me that we did not perform as a governor. So when they say Godfather, people say Godfather. Me, I say political leader. It happened from Opa time. They have a leader. Odili is the leader of both Wike, all of them in River State, and he's a former governor. So if Wike is talking now, he say this is not time for politics. When we talk of politics, if we are around 6 months to a primary election.
All right.
So let's leave them.
All right. Thank you, Prince Y. So we should leave them. We'll take one more call and then I move to Facebook to take the comments we have so far on Facebook. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Fuhad.
You need to speak up.
Good evening.
You are sounding very far. Very, very far. I think maybe you're using a mouthpiece.
Comrade Collins from Aliya.
Better. Comrade Collins, yes.
For me, in Atiku's case, anybody that will stop this current president in 2027 is welcome by me. And I believe Atiku is going to use that Chicago saga to make sure to push him out.
You are still sounding very far. You need to speak directly to the phone.
Atiku is going to use that Chicago saga to fight the current president. And for Wike, I think Tim is in charge. Wike is saying that when the time comes, we will know who is who.
Who is in charge?
Planning for 2027 to remove Tim, and I promise you, the people are solidly behind him. Wike is going to be a political orphan very soon.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Comrade. Let's take the comments we have so far on Facebook. We have Jonah Okoji, who is saying well done. Then we also have Frederick Chika Nabu, who is saying nice one, Fuhad. Thank you so much. We have Aziz Odukale, who is saying happy new year, Mr. Fuhad Saheed, the entire crew and the great analysts in the studio. Tinubu is following Buhari template. On Atiku, he should forget running for presidency again. Instead, look for a young, vibrant candidate to support. That's from Aziz Odukale. We have Aremuraini, who is saying happy new year to all our great analysts. You people are doing good to the topics in the papers on Political Roundtable. Corruption is endemic in our public space. We have to be deliberate in tackling corruption head on, but not this present administration that is okay. Well, those are big allegations. I may not be able to take all of that. I will take them seriously if they start cleansing within them. That is when I will know they are serious in tackling corruption. Aremuraimi from Agric Road, Egon, Igondo, Lagos State. We have Kehinde Adelakun, who is saying happy new year, Mr. Fuad, and all other analysts in the studio. I'm listening to you from Ede, Osun State. That's nice to know. Thank you so much, Kehinde Adelakun. He's saying Atiku should forget about 2027, and to Wike, if he didn't dare, he didn't day. Well, that's what Wike is saying. And then Jonah Okoji is saying, please, why is Mainland FM not on internet? Well, you are watching us on Facebook. You sent your comments, and I'm wondering because he said I want to listen from Abia to your program. It's not streamed. It's streaming. That's why you're seeing, and that's why you can make these comments.
You can go to the website,
and you can also, of course, go to Radio Garden and also listen to us from that platform. But thank you so much, Jonah Okoji. We have Oluwatoyin Shotunde who is saying Wike is a careless talker. Well, okay, that's all he said. We have Joseph Shokenstein, who is saying, if President Bola Tinubu set up a cabinet that works well for a term, do Nigerians think Atiku or any other feasible incoming president on democratic grounds will maintain the same crew or cabinet members? Politics isn't dirty. If you can culture it and smear the dirty medium and view it intellectually and microscopically. I was trying to make a sense of all of that, but I think our listeners will be able to do that. We have Dio Dada who is saying, good evening, crew, and Happy New Year. Can you compare Israel government and army and Nigerian government and army and Dio Dada is always sending messages that you struggle to read. I don't know how we got to Israel on this one. Okay, we have Joseph Shokenstein, which is saying, furthermore, Rivers crisis is a sign of weakness in the Nigerian federal security. If the law is sound, the persons and party involved should know that no one should mess up with his or our country, nation, especially if you are in power or not. Then we have this message from the world. He's saying the lady, okay, I think he's talking about the lady that has been getting cash gifts. The so 430 to cook for her husband. The lady been showered with gifts for cooking as early as 4:30. In the eyes of the Gen Z, is truly a hero. But if you are around and going to school in the early 80s and 90s, you will know that mothers will cook food halfway the night before and wake up like 4 a.m. to finish so that kids can go to school early and not fit punishment for coming late. We can see here is a change in the orientation due to acculturalism to the West and negative feminism. I agree. It's a completely useless kind of feminism we have on the so-called X app. They don't even understand what feminism is all about. So when answer for Wike and Fubara, Wike has said his mind. When war see war will be no more. Let him allow the government the chance to continue his tenure in peace. In general, our president needs to call all his ministers godfathers to order so that the main governors can rule their states in peace. I think that's a very good message from the world. And then we have Michael Oreas, who is saying, good evening everyone in the studio. For Governor Fubara signing the 8 points agreement and implementing them is a political suicide. Wike was dancing today in Port Harcourt that the governor has no option but to obey the agreement completely. Well, we wait to see that happen. And